All right, we're moving along, and in this lesson, we're going to start to build out our Angular application. So if we jump into our source folder here and go to app, remember I told you that app component kind of gave us a starter when we created the application. We're not going to use that anymore, so let's get rid of that variable there. And in the app component, we're not going to use this, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. We are going to use some Bootstrap here to style this up. And while we do that, I want to talk about one little thing here. One thing I hate when we start a new Angular CLI project, it actually uses 2 spaces instead of 4. And I don't know why, that just really bugs me. And the reason it does this is because there's actually an editor config file here. And so it says indent size. And if you just want to change that, you can change it to 4. And now when we come down here, we're actually 4 out. I don't know why, it just bugs me a little. Maybe it's just me, but okay, so back to the program. So now the first thing we want to do is actually include our tasks component. And to do so, we're just going to say app tasks, and that will include that component. So now we're pretty much done with the app component for the rest of this. Now we'll strictly be working inside of here. So we have this task component and we have this task HTML. So we're going to get out of this, and instead of having you watch me type this out, I'm going to just drop in some HTML and let's talk about it. So this again is just some Bootstrap classes. This is a row with kind of a spacer and then just a center panel. So we have this tasks panel, and let's just change this up. Let's call this Angular for Java developers tasks. So we have a new title there. If we wanted to, we could move this title to our component, but we won't. And then we have a panel here, and we have 2 things going on. In this panel, we have a row, and this is going to include our app tasks. And the nice thing here is in IntelliJ, we can actually click through to that. So we can go to our app tasks. Nothing's going on in the app tasks except saying tasks add works, which is fine. And then we have a row where we're going to list out our tasks as well. So just to make sure this is started up correctly, let's go ahead and serve this up. And then again, we can leave this running. If I had a more screen real estate here, I could run them side by side and show you that every time we make a change, it kind of refreshes in the Angular app. But as soon as this starts up, we'll go ahead and visit it. All we want to do is make sure that this is gone now, which it should be. And so now we have this Angular for Java developers tasks. We have a section where we're going to have our task add component, and we're going to have a section where we have a task list component. So I can already see this is kind of butted up against there, which means I probably have some CSS to fix that. So let's look at tasks, and we'll pull this. So task component. Again, one of the reasons I love Angular is everything's kind of componentized. So we know that this CSS is for the task component. So if we go back here, and we should see it refresh, that's kind of pushed down, which is what we were going for. So that's that. Now let's go in and start doing our task add component. So in our task add component, we're not going to do anything here yet. We just want to kind of set this up so that we have that input. So here we're going to have a class called form group, and inside of here we're going to have an input type text. Class is going to be form control. Again, don't worry about any of this. This is just kind of Bootstrap stuff. Placeholder add new task, and we're going to end it for there. I think that's good enough for now. I'm going to drop this down because we're going to be adding some stuff to this later, but that should give us what we're looking for. And there's our add new tasks. So now what we need to do is set up our list. So let's just worry about the actual HTML at this point. So tasks list. Again, list is going to be a little bit more in depth. And I think I just want to go. So let's go UL class. So this is a list group. Again, Bootstrap thing to kind of give us a list. If we want to say list class is list group item. So that'll give us that. And then inside of the list group item, we'll have different items. So item 1, and we'll say 2, and then we'll say 3. So let's jump back, and that looks pretty good. So we have our main task component, we have our add task component, and then we have our list component. So we kind of have the structure in place for our Angular application. Now we need to make this work. So in the next lesson, we'll start working on our task list component.